you guys get into the goal line and you have the stop, I guess 6 or 7 plays there, and that response, what you saw from the group there to respond that way?
Yeah, I think, Brendan, anytime you go out there and you get 100 plays of scrimmage football, you're going to see, some things that you coach. You're going to see some responses that you like, that you didn't like. So, we started out in the red zone on just the 2-point plays. Thought did a good job there. Then on that first drive, obviously it got long, and we had that 3rd down, 4th down stop, and then there was a contact penalty there, PI, a holding call there in the end zone, so it had to be 1st and goal again. So those are the things you really can't replicate unless you scrimmage. So it was just good situations down there, not just in the red zone, but some of the drives on the 3rd down scrambles that got out, or if it was that you were speaking about, that's, like I said, hard to replicate, just in a regular practice. And didn't want it to happen that way. We would like to play a little bit more penalty free in that situation, but it did, and it was good to see a little bit of response there, especially in the front.
Yeah, keep with that theme. Just say like your defense had throughout the course of the day had a good goal line stance throughout the scrimmage. Just talk about that and just how important that is, just in general, just getting ready for that.
Oh, Antoine, anytime you can, when your back's against the wall there, you're trying to hold them out, so it's going to take, I think our offense did a really good job of executing down there as well, though, getting some routes free and then getting downhill in the run game. So there's still some things that we've got to improve on, especially down their goal line. One is to not let them down there. But just, there's this is not a scheme spring. This is a technique and effort spring, and just being able to execute together as a unit. So, there were some really good things that happened down there, but definitely some creases that we got to clean up as well.
Hey, Coach, I think Mike Norvell said that he didn't want a lot of pressure out of the defense so that he could get his offense kind of functioning. What's sort of the push and pull of him trying to give you looks that your defense can get better at, and you wanting the offense to give looks that your defense can get better at?
Yeah, in the spring or even in fall camp, like each side of ball is independent in a way of like they've got to install what they've got to install. We've got to install what we've got to install. But then there obviously has to be some working relationship going there. And Mike's great at it. Kenny's great. We're always trying to work with each other as far as, hey, we really need this look to be able to get this done. And same thing for us. We're going to ask for certain things. And there's always a balance of what they need to get installed, what we need to get installed, but also what we'd like to see against each other. But as far as today, you're practice 6. And so you've got basically 4 to 5 installs in. So, in the spring, Mike believes this, and we all believe this, that it's about getting your concepts in. But the technique, like this time of year, it's critical to be able to set the standard of what the technique looks like, what the execution level looks like. And then I think what we learned today is, you only get so many scrimmage opportunities. Those big space tackles, you get the opportunity to make in these scrimmages. We got to do a better job of finishing those plays. We've got those stud things worked out during the spring practice, but these scrimmages, when those ball breaks, we've got to do a better job of making those space tackles and doing a better job technique and angles to the ball.
Are you seeing the progress from that linebacker group that you want to see? It seems like that whole first and second group seem to be making a good number of plays.
Yeah, I think you're definitely going to see. You look at that group and those top 4 guys right now. Maury, this is his first spring really playing in there. So that growth may not be super fast, but it's going to be periodical, especially with the way he goes about his business. Emmett is obviously the most seasoned one. He's played the most football. But with you got to think DJ Lundy and with DJ and Steven, Steven played a lot of football last year, but he was still a freshman. DJ was kind of out for a little bit, banged up, but I think he's got a really high ceiling. So you're seeing the growth, especially from those younger guys with Steven and DJ, because they just haven't done it a lot. And so we have seen the jump between those 2 younger linebackers from where we left off to where we've been. And with Amari, it's about just getting him the reps, because he's definitely going to put everything into it right now. And we're seeing the gains with him too.
We'll go back to Brendan.
Adam, I know you said, there's 100 plays in a scrimmage, so there's going to be some good, some bad. And you mentioned the open field tackling is something you want to see a little bit cleaner. But in general, the physicality and the willingness to this group to play fast, is that moving in the right direction for these guys?
It is. I think we're putting those, that's the great thing about spring. You can set these drills up with inside drill, with perimeter drill, just with some one-on-one competitions to try and make sure it's very clear on what the expectations are. You get out there in a scrimmage and the ball's moving. Now, there's plays off of plays. Now, sometimes you get too aggressive and there's some guys that aren't in great positions, which happened a few times today. So, we're seeing the willingness to compete, the aggression that we're trying to get to. So yes, we've seen some progress with that.
Hey there, Coach Fuller. Hope you're doing well. In a scrimmage setting, what did you think of the pass rush today from the defense?
There were some, especially with Jordan, you get a little bit of pressure that turns into scramble pretty quickly, and he's a tough one to contain. So you go back and you watch we're going to watch tape, but it's hard when you're not bringing the quarterbacks down of just what those finishes look like. So even today, we got a few sacks where I don't know if we would have sacked them or not. And then there's some other ones that you feel like you got good pressure. Anytime you're blowing a whistle in those type of periods, it's hard to coach the finish. The thing that we're trying to coach right now are just the rush lanes and what it looks like to be able to edge the pocket, to be able to get pushes, be able to have two-way goes inside and what that looks like. So we're pressing pause on a lot of these plays that are drop back pass, and Coach Higgins and Coach JP are doing a tremendous job of this is what it needs to look like within 4 or 5 man, 6 man rushes, and then kind of getting that picture, regardless of the finish on the quarterback, of just what the pocket needs to look like. And so, I think we got the benefit of some of those quick whistles today and some of those sacks, and maybe some of them when the quarterback may get out, may not get out. Those are the angles that we're going to have to coach, especially at defensive end.
Adam, looked like kind of a up and down day for the defense, but you guys finished on a high note. Amari had the big hit, and then Jarrian with the looked like a forced fumble there on the last one. What does that do for you guys to go into after scrimmage to finish up on a high note? What does that do for Jarrian's confidence to make that play?
Yeah, I think you finish it with a 2-minute stop where you're up to win the game. That happened. We had to finish a 2-minute drill last year against North Carolina. You never know when those situations will come up. But throughout the course of a scrimmage or a game or a practice, you want to just be consistent and play at a high level all the time. That's the expectation. Today, there was some up and down. There were some definitely really good highlights offensively. There were some good plays on defense. But be able to finish the scrimmage with coming back, especially in the second half. I thought the first half, we gave up some long drives. In the second half, I thought we tightened down and played a little bit better. But that was, that's a major play. Players got to make plays, especially in critical situations. We saw there to finish on the cause fumble and the recovery to end it. That was a big play.
All right, we'll go back to Adlon.
I guess specifically with Jarrian, last practice, this scrimmage, he's kind of been making some impact plays, it seems. Is he on to something, you think, for the upcoming season?
I hope he's on to something, Aslan. That would be great. But he's showed up with a good attitude. I mean, he's got a good skill set. He's put on good weight, which is going to help him throughout the course of the year. He's been really good around the ball. He's been better with his press technique. Just continue to put him in those situations as a blitzer, as a run fitter, and just getting all those techniques with him comfortable. But, I like the way that he rose up, especially at the end of the scrimmage to make that play. I thought that was big for us and big for him.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.